it's time to change this landing page. While doing so, we'll learn how to add styles to our views. So let's remove all of this from welcome view. Go to welcome.blade.php. We don't need any of these styles, so let's remove that. And if you scroll down and carefully look here, this is the block of code that's adding our login and register links. So let's retain this and remove everything else. Scroll down and remove all of this. And let me also remove the nav tags right here. Or we can leave the nav tags. Let me just format this. Let me also remove all the Dart mode classes. We'll not be using Dart mode here. Alright, now go to the browser and refresh. Of course, we've lost all the content but also lost the styles because we removed the style tag. But if you go to the login page, all the styles are still here. So let's see where the login page is getting all its styles from. Go to login.blade.php and you can notice that this is using the guest layout. So go to the layouts, guest.blade.php, and notice this line here. Even if you don't know what this weep directive is, we can understand that a CSS file and a JS file is being loaded into this layout. Weep is a modern build tool that Laravel uses for bundling the assets in production. So we can simply use this weep directive in any of our views and drop in our CSS and JS files, and Weep will take care of building it for us. So simply copy this line and paste it in the welcome view right here. Now let's go back and refresh our browser window, and some of our styles are back. Alright, like I mentioned before, Breeze uses Tailwind CSS for styling. Tailwind is already installed and set up, which is why you can directly use Tailwind CSS classes and style this page. But if you want to write regular CSS instead, you can navigate to resources, CSS, app.css, and remove the Tailwind directives and start writing your regular CSS right here. Now let's make the welcome view a simple yet nice looking page. You don't have to follow these if you're not interested in styling, just skip to the end. But if you want to follow, let's remove all these classes for the links. This one, and let's remove all of this and this too. And simply for all three of them, let me select all three. Let's just add text indigo 600, hover text indigo 800 maybe. Okay. And let me add a wrap a div around login and register so that it's positioned absolutely. I could say div class absolute top 0 right 0 p6 so that it's positioned to the top right corner. Let me refresh the page. You will not see some of the changes because we need to build the styles as we change them. And for the login link, add a right margin, let's say MR4, just to add some spacing between login and register links. Alright, this should look good enough, but how do we refresh the styles in the browser? In development, you can use the command npm run dev to make Weep compile the CSS and JS for the local dev environment. But since we're using Codespaces, it's a little tricky to make this work, so I will use npm run build, which is actually used for production. Now this will rebuild the CSS. We can refresh the browser. And yes, we do have all the changes we made. But every time we make a change, we want to rebuild the CSS. For this, we can create another command called watch in our package.json file. Go to package.json file, and after build, add another script called watch. And this would be same as Weep build, but we're also watching the files at the same time. So the moment you change any files, Weep will automatically build it for us. Alright, so now clear and type npm run watch. This will keep running in the background. So let's open a new terminal tab for anything else that we need to do. Alright, let's go back to our welcome view. Along with the login and register links, let's add the name of our app in large text in the center of the page. So below nav or below this if block, type light notes, and let's style this with some large text like text 7XL. And let's center this heading in the page using grid on body. So that would be grid, place items, center. And also this needs to have a minimum height of 100 VH for it to work. Alright, let's refresh the browser. Sometimes you'll have to refresh it twice because we're using Codespaces, and this looks good except it's not in the center. That's because we have this nav tag. I think it's a better way to remove this. Alright, let me check now. Once again, this is great. Only one last thing is pending. The title of our web page still says Laravel. We want it to say Light Notes. To change this everywhere in the app, you can open the .mv file and change the name of the app itself to Light Notes. And to make this reflect in our title, you scroll up, and instead of hard coding it like so, let's use the config method and get the app name directly. Now refresh the browser and it says Light Notes. Great, let's move on.